Welcome to another day with Zimaleta. Today is going to be part 3 of the Sprinter That's Not Starting series. So it hasn't been trying to start. So the next thing I want to do is I want to actually see if we're actually getting any fuel. I do have a flashlight right here. And find the hose. Okay, you see here's the hose right there where I got my finger pointed at right there. This is the hose that's supposed to be supplying the fuel filter with fuel, and I actually don't know if it's supplying it or not. Okay, Kevin, go ahead, start the Sprinter. So things are spinning. Okay, that's good. Okay guys, as you could see, and here's my beautiful little kitty. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? All right guys, here's why this Sprinter is not starting. It is not starting because we are not getting any fuel from the fuel tank to actually pump inside of the engine, which we figured that out by removing the fuel hose from the actual fuel filter, and we can clearly see that when you're starting the van, there is no fuel that's actually coming out of there. So this means the fuel pump that's inside of the fuel tank, it's bad. It is not pumping any fuel, and it really should. Therefore, this obviously tells me that this was the initial problem to begin with. It was not getting any fuel. This is why the engine was not starting. So, because there's no fuel supply, okay? And all the excuses aside, nobody ever tested if it's actually getting fuel from the fuel tank. Now, the fuel issue out of the way in itself, it does have fuel that does smell kind of weird. So that fuel smells like kind of like acrylic type of reducer, I guess, for like paints, for like art paints and stuff. So that's what old gasoline smells like. So there is a possibility that there is wrong fuel, but since we do have a situation where there's no fuel that's actually coming into the engine to begin with, well, how is it supposed to get started to begin with? All right, all this information aside, which I am thinking this is really important, because if you're watching this video right now, chances are you're gonna run into an issue with the Sprinter not starting, and you want to learn as much as possible what can be causing the situation. So in this case, it is very clearly check if you're getting fuel by simply disconnecting one of the lines from the fuel filter. The one that's got a thicker type of end on it. I do have this as an example. So here's a typical fuel filter situation. Here's a thicker fuel line, and here's a thinner one with a short rubber hose. So fuel from the fuel tank comes in into this pipe right here, and then it filters out, and then it comes out through this pipe, and then it travels down the lines, and it makes its way over to this location right here. So that's how then it gets fuel right here through the upper hose. And this is a high pressure fuel pump, which does fail as well, and that's another issue that we're dealing with. So I have disconnected this fuel line, and I had my kids start the van, and you could clearly see it wasn't producing any fuel. So anyways, whew. All right, sorry guys, I got a mouthful of information here. So you might see I have a gas tank here, okay, with a little bit of diesel. There's not really a lot of diesel in here to really create some good down pressures into the engine. We did connect it to the metal hose, to the metal pipe that's coming in over here, like from the side. That's where initially this short hose goes. So I just connected to the metal line. So I connected it using another fuel hose. So because there's not enough pressures, obviously there's nothing that's pumping diesel into the engine. We also cannot start it with this fuel. I was hoping that this gravity feed would work, but it is currently not working. So here's what we're gonna do to overcome this situation in this video. We will disconnect this radiator hose right now, and I'm gonna remove this turbo hose here. Then we're gonna disconnect the fuel tank. First, we're gonna go ahead and actually pour all the fuel out of there, or pinch the hose. We'll see which one works. My idea is go ahead and disconnect this fuel hose right here and connect my fuel hose that's directly fed. So in this type of situation, we will be getting diesel flowing directly into the high pressure fuel pump. I got my basic gear wrench mechanic set. I have some gear wrench type of tools. I do also use some Craftsman and Cobalt tools and some Husky tools. But in case you're wondering what tools do you need for the job, what I do in every video now, I go ahead and actually include all of the things that you will need for the job in the video description. So feel free to look at those links. They are affiliate links, but here's something that's important to be said about those. I always look for the best deals, and I find the best deals possible, and then I put the links up there. So, you know, I take my time and I search for these parts and tools, because I buy a lot of the stuff myself, and of course I never want to overpay, because it is your money and you have to leave as much money in your pocket as possible. So now we have this fuel tank. Like, I might just go ahead and actually just pour everything out into the container. Looks like it is long enough. I mean, we would need some kind of funnel. Be nice, but like always, I'm halfway prepared. Okay, this is close enough. So now what I need to do, of course, we're going to replace this lid. I'm going to take my pliers. I'm going to go ahead and actually remove the clamp from this hose where I had everything connected, and we're just going to separate it. Oh, it's actually surprisingly on there. Really, really good. Okay. So, what? We're actually having some leaks. Okay, this is not gonna leak. All right, so we now need these. Well, first I do want to remove this. By the way, guys, these holes are so you could stick tools in them, so you don't lose them. So they work really well for holding your tools. You know, just keep in mind. I mean, that's a little tip. That's what I do sometimes, but sometimes I forget to actually use them. So we're gonna go ahead and actually remove this radiator hose right here, because it's in our way. I mean, I will be removing a fuel line, and fuel line is very, very, very close to the engine, which is gonna be very inconvenient. So this is already kind of undone, but still very, 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 very tight. Wow. Will you look at that? That is so much corrosion. Look at this, guys. There's so much of this stuff in here. It's amazing. And then there's other stuff, that's bigger stuff inside of the pipes. Gosh. The other little connector, it's actually already rusted. So I think I will need to ultimately replace it. And here I am giving you guys examples of proper place to place your tools, and then I'm placing on top of the engine. But all this junk in here, so much corrosion. And I would like to go ahead and actually remove this little fuel hose, and we're gonna end up replacing these little clamps because it's already so rusted. And the very next thing it's going to do, it's going to just it's gonna fall apart, this little clamp, and before you know it, you're losing fuel and you don't know where you're losing it. So I'm gonna twist this hose a little bit, and then let's go ahead and pull it up. We are much closer to feeding fuel directly to the fuel tank. And of course I'm going to go ahead and install that clamp, and I'm going to install my round hose so that it could hold the fuel tank in place. I really do hope that this will start it, because technically if we get it started, this will tell me, okay, it is now running, things are good. Let me see, let me smell this. Yeah, it smells like wrong type of fuel, but I mean, it might be diesel, you know, you just never know. But I like to question everything. So now it's not that important to me if this hose will fly off or not, because I'm just using this as kind of like a holder for my fuel tank. So as you can see, it's going to start feeding through the gravity line, and you know, hopefully this will start it, because if it does start, then at least we're gonna know this engine does start up, and we could go ahead and actually we could replace the fuel pump that's inside of the fuel tank. So I'm not gonna pour the rest of it out, because it appears to me like there's some water. So I will now attempt to start it. So I mean, it should be getting fed with the diesel. I think that's close enough. We'll be able to see if it does suck in the fuel inside of the fuel tank by seeing these diesel levels drop. So let's go ahead and actually start it. Okay, pre-warming the glow plugs. Wait till the glow plug disappears. So things are not starting, of course. And it appears to me that the fuel levels hasn't even dropped. Kevin, come here. I need your help. Can you start the Sprinter? But before you start it, let me do something. I'll tell you. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually, since I have one of my kids back here, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this clamp and pull off the fuel return line. I hope I don't break it. They are very easy to break, and these appear to be plastic. By the way, guys, you could actually get a metal one straight from Mercedes. Okay, Kevin, go ahead. Nothing, we're not getting any fuel. Okay, it started, some of it's starting to get out this way, so see it's blowing a bubble. There's air in the system, guys. So we are starting to get some fuel. Kevin, just spin for a little bit, then stop. Spin for a little bit, then stop. Okay, keep doing it. So we have a lot of air in the system, guys. So this is going to help get some of this air out. As you can see, it's blowing air bubbles. And this is what we really don't want to see. So, but we are, seems like we are getting some diesel, and it appears to me that it does not need that much diesel to begin with. Well, it doesn't need that much diesel to actually, you know, get it in here in these chambers. I mean, after all, I mean, they're probably not completely dry. Pretty sure they got some stuff in there. Okay, Kevin, go ahead. It's not doing it? Well, guys, I got everything plugged up, so we could actually do boost, charge, or maintain. So we could do like an engine start right now. We could actually starting it. So let's see if this will spin faster. Yeah, we're having a lot better luck now. Hey, Kevin or Jason, can somebody start the Sprinter? Guys, it is so nice to have this type of machine. I mean, now that I look at it, I bought it for $100. I'm gonna try to see if there's another one like this on Amazon. I'll link it up in the description below, because guys, this is, man, this is a must. I mean, if you have this and you're like at a truck stop and you just have a very long jumper cable, I mean, you could pretty much ask to maybe plug into somebody's generator that's running, or maybe into the building. Sometimes they have electricity, and then you can start your Sprinter. Hey, boys, Kevin, can you please start the Sprinter? You can? Okay. You know, guys, I'm gonna attempt to start it right now while I'm waiting for my kids to really get here. So I'm gonna stick this back, and now that it's spinning faster, let's see what we're gonna get. I mean, at least it's a little bit more lively now, so it's a good thing. It seems like it's becoming weaker. Yeah, not good. Okay, start spinning and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Spin it, spin it. Okay, then stop. Okay, now do it, Kevin. We're actually not getting any fuel out of it right now. Okay, keep spinning, son. Okay, spin it more. Okay, guys, things right now are pretty dry. It's like there's really no fuel that's actually coming out of here as well. So I have an option to maybe try to start it with like with possibly some starting fluid. I actually don't have any next to me right now. But if I'm going to starting with a starting fluid, chances are, I mean, if it at least catches it and starts pumping things on its own for a little bit, maybe it's going to start pumping diesel a little bit more. But this is actually not a sustainable way of trying to start it with air in it and stuff like that. And we don't have really a lot of pressure coming in. I think there should be a lot more pressure than this fuel tank, but I was hoping that we could directly start it and it's going to be, you know, it's going to be fine, but that's really not working out. But we're going to think of something. Hey guys, here's what I've done so far. I let the battery just kind of sit uncharged on a boost and maintain type of portion. Just kind of let the battery charge up a little bit. And another thing that I have done is I went ahead and actually I reached into this turbo lever leg, and I have you know, I removed it the other day to kind of like adjust the turbo lever, but I believe it dropped. And if the turbo lever is going to get dropped in a closed position, it's actually not going to start up the van. So that's another reason why something might not start up, because it just can't breathe. So at this point, I'm just going to attempt to try to spin it, you know, some more, try to start it. Well, that immediately just pumps it really fast. It seems like it's spinning fast, as you could see. It's grabbing a little bit more. Obviously the battery is a lot more lively. Things are a lot better. Yeah, starting fluid would definitely be of use at this point. Seems like it's trying to grab, but it can't. No fuel. Still not getting the fuel in its current state. So what I'm going to do is, by the way guys, here's another tip. This is why it's good to watch these videos. You see how this door doesn't want to start? Guys, look, this is why. I mean, I don't know why this handle does that. Now it closes. So that's another thing I just solved a minute ago. I figured out, like, okay, maybe just a handle coming out like that, but I never had that issue before, so that's kind of weird. But anyways, let's go ahead and actually just go ahead and put on boost maintain, let things cool down a little bit, and I will try to, you know, bleed these like one by one with the way they're spinning by removing each of these fuel lines and letting the air just kind of get out. But at the same time, you know, we're really not getting any diesel in there, so it almost seems like it's a little bit pointless. At this point, I just wanted to kind of like feel it, just, you know, grab on and start cranking, and that will reassure me that for tomorrow I need to go ahead and make sure the battery's gonna be fully charged. I mean, it's not gonna be raining, thank God, because it's been raining yesterday, today. As you can see, it's a mess. It's been keeping me out of here. But I will try to overnight charge the battery. We're going to cover everything up just in case it does decide to rain, but the battery is going to be always on full charge, and this time we're going to always have the boost maintain function on the battery to keep it from dying. And tomorrow when I come in, I would like to drop the fuel tank. Oh, it's grabbing really good. We do have warranty on the starter, so if it does dies, I could get another one. After all, I paid more than 50 bucks for it. One thing's for sure, guys, it is a lot more lively, don't you think? Feels like it's got a lot more life in it right now. So I think if we get the proper fuel tank hooked up and everything, we might be able to have the whole system go ahead and you know, bleed it out of air, you know, due to the fact that we're gonna have a fuel pump pumping all the diesel inside, and all the channels will be able to bleed the system a lot easier, because right now it's close to impossible. I mean, we're just kind of having a gravity feed type of system. Well guys, this is going to be the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching this video and keeping up with this episodes of me trying to start this Sprinter that's been abandoned. It's been sitting in my yard for about 3 years now, and I'm finally getting to it. I mean, it was just gonna be parts, but since it's still kind of intact, it's not beyond you know, being revived. I think it's going to be good to just make this little project, you know, start it up, fix its problems and stuff. We all could learn from it, and I think it's going to be fun. and interesting. Tomorrow we're gonna try to start it up the normal way. We're gonna hook up a gas tank to it, I mean diesel tank, and we're gonna replace the actual fuel pump. Why am I forgetting these things? This is kind of weird. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself. Please like and subscribe to this to my channel, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow for the next episode of what's gonna happen with the sprinter that's not starting. So hopefully we have started by now. I mean, we will get it started by then. Okay, bye. My name is Serge Zimaleta. I'm 37 years old, and yes, I experienced success after buying my first home for cash. Back in 2011, I was broke, but I learned to solve problems on my own. Now I'm helping others to solve their problems. I know what pitfalls to avoid to stay profitable in business. Need motivation to be more successful in your life? Do you have sprinter, expedite, or business problems? Then subscribe. Let's find creative solutions to your problems. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of my helpful videos.